Hey, what's up YouTube? Low Jockey here. I'm on my home time. Last day of it. Basically, it's time to do honeydew stuff and talk about what I learned in my first 6 weeks while being at Hirschbach and what I can do to improve my situation. So we'll talk about it as I'm changing the oil on my car. You know what I mean? Talk about it. Also, I don't know what these ramps are, who promotes them, but you know, instead of jacking your car up, you got these ramps, you can just drive up them. I mean, it cuts the oil change time in half for worry about jacking up a car, because you know you can fit under there. But anyway, while I'm changing the oil on my car, we will talk about what I've learned about my first 6 weeks. Okay, while that oil's changing, we can talk about the honeydew list. You know, so you've been gone 4 or 6 weeks. Your wife, your significant other, or whoever is at home that needs you to do any kind of task, get them to make you a list of things that need to be done. That way you can have it and you can prioritize whatever it is you need to do, so you're not scrambling around and at the last minute they're asking you to do things, or you leave the house and you have forgotten some things that needed to be taken care of. Also, before you leave home, tell them to keep up with a list, to continuously write down things that you can do. So believe me, I've been doing a lot of stuff as far as maintenance on my vehicles. That's important, you know. If you're going to be gone from home that long, you got to leave them with the peace of mind knowing that when they jump into the car, it's going to start. You know, you want to make sure you got good tread on the tires. Basically, you're doing a pre-trip on all your vehicles for your family. Not to mention anything else going on in the house. Light bulbs, if the sink's not working properly, stuff like that. So, on home time, so you can have some kind of time to be on your own. Get your wife, your significant other, your girlfriend, boyfriend, your grandma, your mom, your uncle, whatever crap that they need you to do, get them to write it down, so you won't be scrambling around like a dumbass. All right. So we talked about the honeydew, all that stuff. So the oil's draining on the car, and I'm gonna take the oil filter off, and then we'll talk about what you need to do to be more successful at Hirschbach. You know, I've been out for 6 weeks. I try to analyze what made me money and what stopped me from making money. So we'll talk about what stopped me from making money and see if we can correct that. Let me go take this oil filter off. Alright, so I have changed the oil filter, put the drain plug back in. That's very important. And we are ready to add some oil. Changing your oil by yourself is very simple and very inexpensive, and you get to control what kind of oil you put in the car versus that oil change place that's using the cheap stuff. Anyway, I'll add the rest of that. So tips that you need to know before you get back on the road, at least in my experience. I think in order to make more money, you have to get a mentor. You have to get a mentor. You have to get a mentor. Now this person, they don't have to be so far advanced more than you. It's simply they're going to give you the heads up on any kind of Hirschbach procedures or any special things that might happen with Hirschbach, or they'll tell you about some situations that happen to them, so when it happens to you, you know how to handle it. So how do you get a mentor is, I don't know, you got to talk to the drivers. You got to ask them questions. I don't think people are too crazy. You know, they'll help you. I just met mine at I was freezing at a gas station. I met him, we had coffee or whatever, talked, and we were going to the same place to get our pickup, and damn near We drove about 500 miles the same direction before we had to, split up to talk about stuff. So I got his number, and he's been there about 7 months, so that's enough time for me. He's putting me on game on everything that's going down too. So that is that's the key. Get a mentor so they can give you a heads up on stuff. Now, finally, what I have to change about myself is, how did I lose money? I lost money by trusting people that don't have my best interest in mind. And the people are three. All right, you got the shipper, the receiver, and believe it or not, the dispatchers. Not your driver manager, the dispatchers. Let's start with the dispatchers. The only thing I can think of is they are like crackheads. Crackheads. They'll tell you whatever the hell they got to say to get what they want. And I mean it, man. If you listen and you get a load that's not making you money, and they tell you there's no forced dispatch, if it don't sound right, it ain't right. Okay? For instance, I got a trip that was 375 miles with 3 stops on it. Ended up taking me 2 days to do it. So that's like what? Shit, $175 a day or something like that. I mean, you only got 7 days in a week. You can't screw yourself up with no little shit like that. So if you're going to do some runs like that, tell them you need some extra money or you're not going to be able to do it. I'm sorry, I respectfully declined that load. Can you give me another one? The first thing they're going to do is, well, we don't have anything else. You have to wait till tomorrow. Tell them I'll wait till tomorrow. Because I can guarantee you the pressure's back on them now. Because somebody's over their head trying to figure out why there's an empty truck available just sitting there. So don't take no crap without getting some money on the side. I hate to say it, Hirschbach. Nobody's perfect. But people were doing shit to get what they want and not think about the driver. Alright, next, the shipper and receiver. What can I do about them? Shit, nothing. The only thing you can do is get the dispatcher to tell you the truth about when this thing is time to pick up. Okay, so me, I'm the day before my load. I have a pickup appointment at 6:30 in the evening. Do you believe these guys are telling me to be there 10 hours early? Now, before, the green me, when I was green my first 6 weeks, I would have went there and sat for 10 hours. But the new me says, fuck that. I don't get paid by the hour. So I'm going to take care of all the business I got to take care of. And I will get there in a time so when I get there, the load is ready and I can take off. Versus getting there and sitting there for $0. Because they tell you, if you get there earlier than your appointment, then they're not going to pay the attention. Okay? The detention is your appointment time, anything past that. So why get there 10 hours early? That's listening to crackhead shit. Okay. So on the shipper and receiver side, what you have to do is make sure you're on time. If you're late, you're fucked. You got to be on time. If you're early, it don't count. But let's say your pickup is at noon. You get there at 11. At noon, your clock begins. 4 hours later, start asking for money. Start asking for money. They're going to tell you stuff like, oh, we have to collect it later. Well, tell them collect it later. And do this shit every time. On both ends. Shipping in and receiving in. Start asking for money. I'm telling you, there's only 7 days in a week. We get paid by the mile. We don't get paid by the hour. And I got a feeling in the future, in the near future, these companies have been getting sued about stuff like this. I don't have no ill will against Hirschbach. I'm just saying, if it's the shipper or the receiver is holding me up, I need to be compensated for my time. Okay? You only got 11 hours to drive in a day. You only got a 14-hour window. If they take your 14-hour window and squeeze it down to 8 hours, what can you do? All right? So that's what I've learned. Now, don't be so crazy aggressive. I know I'm saying a lot of curse words, but in a very polite ways, you call your fleet manager and you say, hey, it's been 4 hours. I've been waiting here past my appointment time, I need to get paid attention. And don't just do it over the phone. Type it into that computer, because it cannot be erased. You say something over the phone, they can say, I don't know what they're talking about. Type it in the computer or on your phone to get a response. All right? So if everybody does this, we can get some traction and get something done about it. If not, you can be like the green me. Just go out there and hope that people feed you. You hope they will feed you. They're not going to feed you. So you got to be a little aggressive. It's just business. It's nothing to do with trying to be the crazy person. It's business is business. You know what I'm saying? You want me to pay that truck payment? You take it out of my check. I want to be paid so I can pay it. Business is business. But if you're going to be a crappy driver, you're going to be late, you're not going to be on time, you're going to go out of route, you're going to do all those stuff, deal's off. So, improve whatever your faults are, and then you can start making demands. But anyway, I got a few hours. I'm going back to the truck, and I'll see you back out there on the road. Load jockey out. Now I got to finish adding the rest of this oil. Later, guys.